I'm PGA teaching professional Todd Coben. Today I'm going to show you how to hit wedge shots in windy conditions just like it is today. And we all know golf is a challenging game, and it's a game that's played outside, and eventually you're going to be playing into the wind, and you got to be able to navigate those situations. So today I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to talk specifically about ball position, club selection, length of swing, and a couple other details that you're going to find really helpful. Hey, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel here. This is the place for you. If you love golf, USGolfTV is a community. We're helping golfers all over the world play better golf, and I love hearing from you. You are teaching me some things as well, so be sure to leave some comments, be sure to ring the bell, and let's help everybody play some better golf. Now let's dive right into this. So I've got a pitching wedge. I've got my setup here. I've got my radar technology so we can tell exactly how far I'm hitting the golf ball, the height of it, those types of things. And also, anytime I'm doing some training, we're going to talk a lot about ball position. I like to have my Carsley training aid right here, my rhymer down to help me work on my ball position. So let me talk to you about a standard wedge shot with a pitching wedge. How are you going to hit that? And then what's different when we hit in the wind? So first of all, ball position. You want to position the ball so it's basically about the center of your stance, maybe slightly forward of center. So that's where I've got the rhymer down here, and I'm going to put my feet together. I've got the little arrow pointed out there, and I'm going to go ahead and separate so that the ball is basically in the middle of my stance. So when I'm set in here on a standard wedge shot, no wind, pitching wedge, I've got the ball basically in the center of the stance. I've got my hands ever so slightly forward, and I've got a little bit of weight on my lead foot. So let me go ahead and hit a shot so we can get a baseline here. Okay, not too bad, a little bit on the toe. I got a carry on that one. Let me show you here in a second, just registering. I got a carry about 105. I've got a height of about 67 feet. Okay, so let me go ahead and hit one more so we get a couple swings in here so we got a good baseline of where we're starting at. All right, that one felt a little bit better than the first one, and is probably more typical to how I would hit this club. This club generally for me, you know, goes around 110, 115. Okay, that carry was a little bit further, right around 120 on that one. Height of 91. That's pretty typical for me. So on a typical wedge shot, my pitching wedge, like I said, goes 115, 120, flies right around 90 feet in the air, 95, something like that. Now, what about when it's really windy? What do I want to do different when it's windy? Well, the first thing you can do to bring that ball flight down is to change your swing speed. So on that particular one there, my club head speed was 77.5. So I'm going to make a swing now, and I'm going to try to slow my swing speed down a little bit. I'm going to keep all the other variables, ball position, hand position, length of swing the same, but I'm going to bring that speed down a little bit. Let's see what happens with the ball flight. So ball position, basically center, little forward shaft lean. I'm going to bring the swing speed down a little bit. Okay, I felt like that was a little bit slower. 73 on that one, so about 4 miles an hour less. Height on that one, 80. Okay, so tip number one, if you want to bring the flight down, you got to bring your swing speed down a little bit. The faster you swing, all things being equal, the higher the ball is going to go. So that's tip number one, a nice way for you to bring that height down on your wedges. What are some other things that we can do though? Well, ball position. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move that ball back a little bit. So I got the arrow, I've moved it back just a couple notches there. Put the ball equal to that. So now the ball is going to be just a little bit back of center now. And I'm going to try to get back to that same swing speed I had before, which is right around 77. Let me go and hit one. That felt pretty solid. Let's see what the speed was. 78, within 1 mile an hour of where I wanted it to be. Carry pretty good. Height, 88. So a little bit less, not a lot, but a little bit less than my stock shot that I hit a little bit earlier, which is right around 90 to 95. So it did bring it down a little bit, but not a ton. So you can see in those first two tips, the best one to bring that ball flight down was the swing speed. Now, the combination of the ball back with this third tip I want to give you, which is getting the hands a little bit forward. Let's see what that does. So here we go. I got the ball back a little bit. I'm going to give it a little bit of forward shaft lean now. Okay, I'm gonna try to get that swing speed right back up where it was before, right around that 77, 78, right in that ballpark. Okay, that felt pretty good. A little bit on the toe. Not bad. Let's see what we got there. 77 miles an hour, that's what I wanted. Let's see the height on that. Okay, 78. Okay, definitely came down. So, here we go. Let's bring this together. So, I can bring that trajectory, that height down through speed, or I can bring it through moving the ball back and hands a little forward. Now, what if I combo all those together? Let's go ahead and do that. So let me get this decent lie here, move my training aid back a little bit. All right, so here we go. We got the ball back of center. I'm gonna go forward shaft lean, and I'm gonna bring that speed down a little bit. Okay, that felt pretty good. The speed's gonna be a little light on that one, which I want, yep, 70 miles an hour. That's what I wanted. Let's look at the height on that one. 74 feet on that one. So I went all the way from right around 95 all the way down to about 75. That's a pretty big difference right there. How did I do that? Well, I moved the ball back, I got my hands a little forward, and I slowed my swing speed down a little bit. So I don't know if that makes sense to you. If you got some questions on that, be sure to fire those in there and I'll go ahead and answer those. Now, before I let you go though, that's with the wedge. Let's try with another club, all right? We got some time today. Let's try another club. So I'm gonna go ahead now, I'm gonna grab my 7-iron, okay? And let's go through the same process and let's see how this works. That's with the wedge. Let's talk about the 7-iron. I'm gonna go ahead and move this back a little bit. I'm gonna go back to my stock ball position. I've got a 7-iron. So I'm gonna have that ball be ever so slightly forward of center. I'm gonna go ahead and hit a stock shot here. Let's see what we get for distance and height. Okay, that felt pretty good. For me, that's pretty good. All right, 84.5, around 85 miles an hour, 7-iron. It's about pretty standard for me. Let's see what we got for height. Okay, 94. See, this is what is so interesting, is that when you look, even though your eye might be telling you something different, the height of a 7-iron was very similar to the overall height of my pitching wedge. Now, the pitching wedge seems like it goes so much higher because it doesn't go as far. But think about that for a second. The peak height of this 7-iron was very similar to the peak height of my pitching wedge. That's something that's really valuable to know as you're trying to hit golf balls and you're hitting them up over the trees or underneath trees, those types of things. So that's our baseline. 85 miles an hour, let's say. 94 height. Okay, carry 166, that's pretty good for me. All right, we got some help with the wind today. Now, let's go to our first one. Bring the swing speed down, let's see what happens. So I'm keeping the ball position the same, slide forward shaft lean. Let me see if I can bring this speed down a little bit. Okay, that felt, man, did that feel solid. I brought the speed down a little bit, 81, about 3-4 miles an hour less. Let's see the height. Registering right now, 80. Boom, drop, just like that. So, I don't care if you're hitting a pitching wedge, I don't care if you're hitting a 7-iron, you wanna bring your ball flight down, you gotta bring your swing speed down a little bit. And what do most people do? When they're hitting shots into the wind, they swing harder, they try to swing faster. You've all heard the phrase, when it's breezy, swing easy, right? There's a reason for that. All right, let's go to the next step. Let's move the ball back. I'll go ahead and move my alignment back there a little bit. Move the ball back. I'm gonna get my forward shaft lean a little bit. So I got the ball back, forward shaft lean. I'm gonna see if I can get that speed back up to where it was before. I think that's gonna be pretty close to the same speed. Yeah, 84 on the button, perfect. What do we got for height? 80, 80. Brought that down a little bit. So, as you recall, when I went to my stock shot, okay, height, 90, 95, give or take. I'm hitting range balls, it can vary a little bit. One step, slow the swing speed down, boom, dropped it down to about 80 height-wise, okay? Or I could keep the speed the same, move the ball back, move the hands in front a little bit, and I could also bring that down. So when it comes to practicing, next time you head to the golf course, what I would do, I don't care if it's windy or it's calm, make some swings and practice swinging the club at different speeds, at different rates. Because not only is it going to allow you to change the trajectory and the height of the ball, It's a wonderful drill to do for rhythm and flow and those types of things. So next time you head to the golf course, I hope it's a calm day, but the reality of it is it might be a day like today where it's super windy. Now you have some tools, some information how to help you bring that ball flight down just a little bit.